had this red lipstick on before I started filming, and my fiance told me that it was ugly and that I looked like a devil. And I was like, oh, but no, dark lips transfer well on camera. I was wrong. Hi guys, it's Ash, your truth-bombing fairy godmother for everything love, dating, and relationships. A few weeks ago, I did a video on how to get over a breakup in quarantine, and based on the response to that video, there are a lot of you who are feeling abandoned after a breakup right now. And I got a lot of comments in particular saying things like, I can't stop texting my ex-partner, my ex won't reply to my messages, what do I do when my ex won't reply? And I have very straightforward advice and opinions on this. Hence the topic of today's video, which is how to respect yourself enough to stop texting him or her, and further, how to redirect that energy spent contacting someone who has made themselves unavailable to you towards yourself. But first, if you haven't already done so, don't forget to click that subscribe button below, and a huge thank you to all of my new subscribers that I've gained over the last couple of weeks. It means so much to me, and I am so happy that you've chosen to stick around. And also, don't forget to click that little notification bell as well, because my upload days, especially since all of this has started happening, has changed, and it's a little bit all over the place if I'm being honest. So don't forget to click that little bell so that you can be notified every single time I post. Anyway, let's get into it. Being ignored by someone you still love and care about is indescribably painful. It is so wounding and so triggering, and really is just the ultimate form of rejection. But that being said, there are obviously varying reasons why someone may not be communicating with us. For example, if they're experiencing their own intense grief or difficult emotions, they may simply just not have the capacity to give us the attention that we're requesting at that time. But those aren't the situations that we're talking about today. What we are talking about is people who, quite frankly, don't give a and have blatantly chosen to cut us out of their lives. And here's the thing. We overcomplicate it when someone has chosen to ignore us. We try to assign a meaning to it, or some type of invented explanation that will help us gain closure, or something that will help us make sense of why it is that they've chosen to do this. I'm very guilty of this myself, because I'm someone who demands a lot of clarity and communication from people. And I remember with my first boyfriend in high school, who used to ghost me and ignore me all the time, just nagging him for an explanation after our many breakups, because I felt that that was what I needed to move on, that if he could just give me a valid reason, I would be able to pick up the pieces and move on more effectively. And this is just simply not true. It's a lie that we tell ourselves that actually keeps us stuck and unable to begin true healing. The truth is that it doesn't matter what their reasoning is. What matters is that they have chosen to stop communicating with us, which is all the explanation that we should need. Knowing the reason doesn't change anything. And ignoring or blocking someone is the most clear, concise way of letting them know that they are no longer available to you. Does that hurt? Absolutely. Of course it does. And we're allowed to feel that hurt. We should feel that hurt, but we have to be the caretakers of our own hurt feelings. But more on that in a moment. On the flip side of this, if we reach out to an ex and they do respond, this can sometimes be equally as damaging. Not only might they give you a response or an answer that you didn't want to hear and can further entrench your pain, but no matter what they say, you are making yourself reliant on them and them responding to you for reassurance and validation. You feel that buildup of angst and anxiety, and it reaches its peak, so you cave and you send them a text. They respond, you feel relieved, and that anxiety is temporarily diminished. You've been reassured that they're still there and that you haven't been forgotten. But now, every time that you feel that buildup of anxiety, you're gonna rely on your ex to relieve this for you. And this becomes a very difficult, sticky, unhealthy pattern to break because you're failing to look inwards to learn how to relieve your own anxiety, your own pain, your own difficult emotions, which is the only way to truly heal, find closure, and move on. You cannot get this from your ex. But back to being ignored. If we reach out to an ex and they don't respond, we internalize this to mean that we are not cared about and that we are not loved. It makes us feel as if we are not worthy of a response, that we're not important enough for a response. Are any of these statements true? No, of course they are not true. But when we're being ignored by someone that we love and care about and are extending ourselves to in that way, that's exactly what it feels like. And those are the messages we tell ourselves and then internalize as a result. And this is where we go so terribly wrong. Every time we extend ourselves to someone who is no longer available to us, we are rejecting, betraying, and abandoning ourselves. We are the ones sending the message to ourselves that we are not enough and that we are not deserving of better, because continuing to contact someone who does not want to be in our lives reinforces the message that that is somehow acceptable. That giving time and energy towards someone who does not reciprocate that time and energy is okay, because we keep going back for more of that same rejection. By reaching out to someone who is blatantly giving us the cold shoulder, we are actively choosing to throw away love and energy that we should be directing towards ourselves. How do we redirect that energy towards ourselves? Practice. Time, consistency, and practice. The next time you feel that impulse to contact an ex or someone who is ignoring you, what I want you to do is pause, tune in, and direct that energy towards yourself. I want you to put your hand on your chest, just like this. I want you to take a really, really deep inhale in through the nose and a slow, long exhale through the mouth. And I want you to really tune in to the sensations of your own breath. So if you're someone who is familiar with mindfulness and meditation practices, you will know all about this, but it's really, really simple. This is literally all I want you to do. Close your eyes, hand on your chest, on your heart, and focus in to the physical sensations of the breath, just like this. I want you to do this for a few minutes, just really focusing on that physical sensation of the air coming in through your nose and gently being released through the mouth. And then, in a very compassionate, non-judgmental way, I want you to ask yourself, either out loud or perhaps in the form of a journal question, just like the questions I offered the other week, what is it that I'm trying to receive by reaching out to this person? And just see what comes up for you. It's very likely something to do with wanting some type of validation or reassurance, that we haven't been forgotten about, that we are seen, that we are loved, that we are understood, that we are heard. Whatever it is, I then want you to ask yourself, how can I try to give myself this instead? Perhaps it's doing an activity that you really love or that makes you feel good. Perhaps it's moving your body and getting some exercise. Perhaps it's reaching out to someone who is emotionally available and loving towards you, and that can include arranging some type of professional support or counseling, or more importantly, perhaps it's simply remaining present and available for your own emotions in a way that this person is not. Now, at first, this type of redirection of energy towards ourselves will feel very uncomfortable. Being the caretakers of our own emotions and our own pain can feel very foreign and very unnatural when we're not used to doing that. But in time, the conscious choice to stop extending ourselves to people who are not there for us and further investing that energy into ourselves will transform you from the inside out. Choosing to invest love and energy in only ourselves and those who reciprocate that love and energy redefines our new normal. There will absolutely come a point where the mere thought of reaching out to someone who is not there for us becomes blasphemous. It's like, of course I deserve love and attention, and of course I don't deserve to be ignored, because through your own behavior and actions, you have taught yourself that that is true. But it takes conscious practice of refusing to engage with unavailable, neglectful people to get there. Another point I want to quickly make before wrapping this up is that letting someone go and choosing to respect their decision of no longer wanting to interact with you is not saying that what they have done or what they are doing is okay. In fact, it's actually quite the opposite. It's saying it's not okay, which is why you are choosing better for yourself and choosing to show yourself the respect that this person is failing to give you. Accepting and respecting someone's choice to ignore you truly is an act of self-love and of self-respect. By accepting someone's decision to cut you out of your life, you are starting the practice of only allowing what is available for you, both emotionally and physically, into your heart and life. There is so much more I can say about this topic and why it is so loving and important to stop texting someone who is ignoring you. But it really does just come down to consciously choosing better for yourself. It is a choice to choose self-love and self-respect over the asshole who has cut you out. But as always, I would love to hear your thoughts on this and whether or not this is something that resonates with you. And please know that if you are going through this, you are loved and your feelings are extremely valid. No matter what they are valid and they are important, and it's important to acknowledge them and allow them to be felt. Take care of yourselves during this very difficult time and know that in doing so, you will heal. Hang in there and I'll see you next week.
Ooh, and I get you inside.